Thanks everybody for coming and joining us for the Covellite Institute screening of Slacker by Richard Linklater. I'm here with Duane.
Hello.
And is this, we're just gonna break right into it. Is this your first time seeing this film?
No, this is either my second or my third time seeing it.
So you understand everything in it now?
I hope so. In all honesty though, what do you necessarily make of the ending of it? Because the rest of it is made in this very specific sort of style where it flows and everything. There's the point where it goes to the little pixel, what's that called? Pixel?
It's a Pixel Vision camera.
Pixel Vision camera.
It's the, well, it was a Fisher-Price camera for kids, and it used a tape cassette instead of video cassette. And so a lot of people don't think that, tape's tape basically. So instead of getting this many, pixels that you would get off a tape, you're getting this many. So the resolution on it's not very good.
Okay.
But it still follows the exact same principle as the rest of the film where, we're just going to go and, take a look at this interaction here.
Mm-hmm.
And
specifically with the scene with the pixel vision, it's cool because it kind of the meaning of, or the point of the movie is the camera's just kind of drifting towards all these different lives that are going on. Like when you're walking down the street, you pass by someone and you hear a snippet of their conversation. And you're like, that person is living an entirely different life than mine and I only get to experience mine. But what is it kind of like as a community or as a world, where everyone's having all these different situations at the same time? And the pixel vision part I think is really cool because it's basically just taking that entire concept and just smushing it down to just everyone's passing around this camera and just seeing what'll come out of it.
Yeah. And I think it goes back when the opening of the film where Linklater's actually in the cab and he's spelling out and then this could have happened and this could have happened and this could have happened. Slacker to me is like every kind of subreddit where it's, well, what if this? That's kind of the whole basis of this movie is, there are all these iterations of things that are happening and we only get, this much of the story. So everything's just passing on and it's I only get 5 minutes of this story and then we're on to the next story and I'm only going to get a few minutes of that story and then we're on to the next story.
So a question I'd like to ask you is because I've grown up at a time where I can watch a movie at any time, basically. Any kind of movie I can look it up on YouTube or whatever, or some Netflix or something like that. But when did you watch this movie the first time?
Probably in film school, actually. So between 2008 and 2011.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy to me, how a movie that's so small and so there are imperfections all throughout it. Occasionally someone's out of focus. There's in the pap smear scene when the boom pops in.
Yeah.
Just there's all these little imperfections in it, and partially that is really good for a filmmaker, an aspiring filmmaker, or even a student of film to watch because it shows you that everyone. This guy's directed Boyhood. He was nominated for Best Picture and all this stuff, but he started somewhere. But the fascinating thing about that is how crazy it is that this movie was able to get as far as it was. You know, just a guy filming it on a 16mm camera he bought himself after working on an oil rig or whatever it was he was doing.
Wasn't it? It was a video camera.
Oh,
wasn't it? Yeah, because it was. If you look at the frame rate and everything, and there's no HD cut of this thing for a reason because it was shot on video, and I'm pretty sure, and so that's why the frame rate is the frame rate, or not the frame rate, but the size of the frame, which how we watch the film, is. You'd never see a film that was shot like this now because the technology has moved forward, and so now everything's, widescreen and whatnot. And, I loved that it has this very low tech. It goes even to lower tech or lower standards of definition within it. And he doesn't try to mask it. He just goes with it, And for those of you not familiar, this is Linklater's first film. And so in all of his films, he's very fascinated with time and with physics and everything like that. Boyhood was a film he shot over like
12 years.
12 years, and he used all the same actors in it, and they kept just going on with their story, and he'd pick it up, whenever they could kind of get together and shoot. So they'd shoot it for, maybe like a month, maybe, I don't think he ever got more than 2 months out of a year working on over this 12-year period. And so you see, in Slacker, he's really obsessed with time and what time is. And there's even that line that the one girl says, time doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And the one girl comes in, I'm late. She's like, oh, well, time doesn't even exist, so you're not late,
All those weird Austin hippies. But yeah, I totally dig that, man. Like, the whole idea of time that Linklater's always focused on, you can see it change. Like the way that he has grown as a filmmaker, he has a really eclectic career. He made everything from Bad News Bears, School of Rock, Boyhood, Slacker, all of these different things. But he's always got like this sort of a fascination of when he's trying to do something comedic or whatever, he always keeps it in this kind of like strange reality where it is like, because he's fascinated with just like little moments in time, Like he actually did make one film before this that he just shot himself. He edited himself. He did every little thing himself, just with like a little camera he bought. And just and all he did in the film was he was making breakfast, and he was like, oh, I think I'm gonna film this while I'm making breakfast, just because you never see people making breakfast in films. But it's just cool to like see because people really identify with those tiny little moments, And that's like all I guess film is like it's taking those moments and putting it into a larger story, but just to like show so much of a focus for like his just kind of his love of just the little things. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, I thought one of the really interesting things that you see in this film is everybody, like the conspiracy theorists and everything, they're coming and they're trying to, kind of force their vision of the world onto, somebody, and, they're either trying to evade and get away, like the one guy, or you have the girl in the bookstore who's talking with the JFK guy, and, she's like, I gotta get to this movie now, and, she hustles around, but in a lot of instances, and, it's just somebody trying to say, this is my vision of the world, and this is why it's right. And so throughout the whole, film, you have everybody trying to say, this is my vision of the world, this is why I think it's right. And then other people are like, they'll either jump into the conversation of, well, no, it's not right because this is my vision of the world and this is why your vision's wrong. And, it's funny because the movie itself, is doing the exact same thing to us. The movie itself is just saying, hey, you don't have the whole vision of the world correct either.
No, yeah, like it's really cool to just see like all those weird eclectic sort of views going on in there. And like it's Richard Linklater, like he didn't go to film school. He was a philosophy major, and you can really see that in this movie. There's all these crazy communists and all of these just weird anarchists and everything, and all those different views. Like I think the film is just kind of trying to not necessarily make you believe any of them, but just kind of like show you all these different views, and that's like a way of emphasizing just how different all these other little stories are that are just kind of nesting in this one place. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I think if you could put like God into a form or everything, it's just somebody that knows everybody's story basically. And like this is a film where it's you have everybody's story, but you only get a little bit of it. It's like, this is all we can get of it.
Yeah, just a little taste. But something that I really like about this movie is like it shows you how little you need to like show a lot of character from people. Like immediately when you see some of the people, there's the guy who's in the coffee shop or whatever, and he's just in his bathrobe. Immediately you kind of understand a little bit about that guy. Or and like the chick with the pap smear, and she just had the weird hat and the glasses.
So what did you understand by the guy in the bathrobe?
Dude, he wanted to go home. He didn't really like going anywhere. You can clearly, that was his entire character. He didn't want to go anywhere. And he clearly wasn't dressed to go anywhere. And I don't know, like there's all the little things like that. Just like a person's car, Like it was probably he may have made characters out of just like he had a shirt. Like a lot of the characters are wearing just his shirts because he thought it would be like the perfect shirt for a character. Or whatever, you know? So you can just build all these little interesting things and like just take your life and just plop it all together into this weird mismatch of life swirling around you.
Mhm.
It's beautiful.
So when this came out, it was pretty, it was really out of the box as far as films go. I think this showed at Sundance around like 91 or 92, and everybody was like, holy cow! Do you think, like with all the new mediums, you're a younger filmmaker, you know about these Snapchats and all this other stuff that I don't know about, and like, what do you think the time frame would be just to have like a movie, it's just all on Snapchat though, where it's all, some other medium with, like they'll find like an old flip phone or something like that and record some video, and that will be their pixel vision camera, the camera of their youth, which is this,
No, yeah. See, that's
tool they had.
That's part of what makes that movie, The Slacker, so impressive, though, is because filmmaking has like changed so much to the extent that for the amount of money it would have cost for like a couple of rolls of film, now you can get an actual like kind of not a cinema camera necessarily, but a good-looking camera that most people can't really tell the difference.
Yeah.
And it actually looks like a really good video, but I guess like from like the way that that's gonna like go forward with like all the social media and everything is, I think that somewhere people are gonna figure out how to make like films that are VR. I think that's totally gonna happen soon, like a full film of VR, or like a film that's in the aspect ratio of like a standing up phone. Someone's got to get on that. Someone far more creative than me, but that's probably what'll happen.
One thing I kind of found interesting that I noticed about each character is that even though you don't spend a lot of time with them, really you could make a feature film out of any of them because they're all really interesting characters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was totally thinking that. Like each different scene feels like a scene out of some crazy sitcom or something that's going on. Like every different little, there's so much stuff that must have been going on in the background of those three guys. They were like throwing the tent off of the bridge and everything like that. Like that totally was like their thing. That was their way of doing things. And you can just see that like all the other things that are in their life in just this one little smidge of it,
Yeah.
I got two things.
All right.
I've seen this a while back, and I just seeing it again. It reminded me that they're in some small town. I don't remember where they are.
Austin.
Austin.
So it's not even a small town, but you get a feel for that whole environment in that time. It almost feels like they're watching an unintentional documentary of the people of the place. And I know that it's staged, but it also is like those were the people that were. You can see the haircuts, and there's nobody costumed up, And so like in my mind, you could do this for any town in America at any time period, and in 20 years, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
The second thing is, I have a question for you guys as filmmakers yourselves. How do you think he went about getting those guys? Because I'm assuming they weren't all actors. How did he get performances out of all those people? Or do you know, were they actors? Were these all like staged with real people or what?
I'm not sure actually.
I know that a fair amount of them were just like, because sometimes you just know a person who, they may not be an actor, but they're just the most interesting person. So we just kind of took that person and have them be themselves.
Yeah, but what I felt was interesting was that their dialogue, quote unquote dialogue, are they just babbling, or was it all scripted, or like, here's like 5 lines, just make sure you fit them in while you're your way through this thing,
The couple articles that I've read on it is he basically just kind of let people kind of go in the scene, but I don't know if he had like liner notes or whatnot, and it's like or if he's just like, okay, he's at the car, go up and talk, say car stuff.
One was trucking and dolly shots. They were really nice
Yeah.
and long distances. How was it done?
That I am not. He did everything pretty cheap on this film, so I could see him just rolling it on a skateboard in some scenes.
Yeah, or a wheelchair or something.
But
He had to walk the stage.
yeah.
It was pretty well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's cool. It shows you how professional you can make something look without any money. And like that was back then, and it's just only gotten better now. It just goes to show like if you. So I was watching this documentary about Richard Linklater the other day, and one of the people that was interviewed mentioned the fact that when they hear about Slacker, they hear like so many different people say that they had the idea for Slacker before they ever saw it, like just the idea of the camera follows one person, and then it follows another person, and then it just kind of goes all throughout this. And I think that's part of why Slacker may have been so successful, is because a lot of people can connect to that. A lot of people are just wondering what else is going on in the world. What am I missing, you know?
Yeah. Did you ever see Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead?
No.
So they were two background characters in Hamlet, thank you. And this is a film that makes them basically the main characters now.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
so you follow them around and you get to see, you know, the play of Hamlet basically going on around them as we're just going on through their lives, and you know.
That's really interesting.
But that's basically what this kind of a lot reminds me of.
Definitely, yeah.
Because
it's like, what else is there to the story? That you're
yeah,
not
well,
seeing?
it's everybody has their own story, but how much time do you want to take? And it's, you know, like with any kind of relationship that you know we've had, it's like how much time, you know, do you want to take to get involved into this relationship? Like how long, how far do you want it to go, basically?
Yeah, definitely, and that's like definitely a thought in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to address the thing that was said about the fact that it looks like you could film this movie at any place, and it would just kind of give you a feel of that place, you know? Like, this movie is such a cool, like, snapshot of just a place in time, because there's not a lot added to just, like, the place that was around him. To an extent, the movie's just kind of like a love letter to the city of Austin. Like, and you could film it anywhere and just, like, show off all these different kinds of characters, because, like, if you did it in Butte, like, you wouldn't have anywhere near as many commies and anarchists. Maybe.
Are you sure about that?
Maybe. Maybe uptown Butte, not downtown.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you go in Butte.
And the bar you're in.
I actually saw this movie when it first came out, and I feel like the technology has changed, but this could still be just a slice of life in Mr. Portland.
Definitely. Or even like Missoula to an extent.
Yeah,
Well, I think the technology in 1991 was definitely better than that. This was meant to be a low-tech film because, you know, it was, you know, like little snapshots of people's lives. They didn't have a huge budget for it. It's meant to be low-tech.
Hmm. Yeah, and the technology helps with the way that it's presented.
The idea of the film and it is about like all these big explosions and throwing a bunch of money at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people just respond to story. You don't need to have that much money or that much anything. If you have a good story, people will listen to it. Hopefully, at least. It is actually a good story, in theory.
Let's see. Any other questions? These lights are hot.
There's quite a noise floor under the entire film, and my hearing's not good, so
Yeah.
it's like watching a movie in a noisy room, you know?
Yeah, I think that too, though. You know, that's part of the technology, you know, with the film. So, you know, it's interesting, you know, because you're just basically using a boom mic, and you know, a lot of those shots are moving, so you're moving with with the mic and everything. And he didn't try to take it out. He didn't try to cover it up. You know, he didn't have two mics, so he just went with what he had, which you know. Some people might say it's bad filmmaking, there's no place for that. But then it's like, you know, there's a place for it because this is showing, you know, my vision of how I see the world, you know. And it's with bad audio and mics in the frame and everything like that. You know, it's a complete kind of FU to a studio film. And I liked it because, you know, it reminded me of, you know, the films during the French New Wave, you know, where the filmmakers are running with these big, heavy cameras. And, you know, it's like, you know, we don't have a dolly, we don't have anything. It's shaking the whole time, and you feel the shake. You know, I like that kind of just, you know, very kind of just energizing kind of thing. But, you know, you have it to where people do it as, you know, I need to do this because this is the only way I can get this shot. And then you have all the other people that come after, and they do it because it was done in that movie.
Yeah, and that's that's part of what gives the movie like its charm. That's part of why it's lasted so long, is because of all of these little technical issues with it. You know, is because
Well,
like
also because everybody would copy it too.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. But like Kevin Smith, like even like on Clerks, he wrote special thanks to Richard Linklater for making this movie. He said that he didn't go into the seeing Slacker wanting to be an artist. When he walked out, he said, "I want to be an artist like that."
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
I wondered what happened to the guy who ran down his mother.
That's weird, man. That's the most absurd scene in the movie. It's just weird.
I don't know why he did that.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the
That's the appeal to it.
yeah,
Just
the
'cause
joy
it's
of the
weird.
film is they're not, you know, even though that in like any other movie, that would be the main plot, and we'd just follow that the whole time.
Right, okay, but I think though, okay, they have that like 1991 version of the GIF, right?
Uh-huh.
Where it shows him and his mother
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the wagon and she just kicks him and throws him off.
Yeah.
My thought is he's really pissed off about that, and that's why he ran down his mother.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I loved about that. Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're only giving you a little bit of the story, so you have to make your own conclusion.
Yeah, I was wondering if the thing didn't get hit by a car too. Like as soon as I saw her foot like just go like that, I'm like,
Yeah, he's really pissed off about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering whose pictures he was burning from the yearbook.
Yeah, what was going on there, man? Yeah, I think that's another part of like showing how little you need to make a fucking fascinating little section, you know, is because he has just like a little gif of some weird thing that happened between him and his mother or whatever, and that gives you all the context you need to know that something.
What
is
did you
going
call
on
that?
There.
A GIF?
Did I call it a gif?
Yeah.
But then there's like two little Mr. Potato Heads in his cabinet for some reason. Just
Yeah.
little things popped in there. Just tell you a lot about people, you know? Mm-hmm. What was going on in that dude's gourd?
Maybe just flashbacking to when his mom pushed him out and he got hit by a car.
Playing on loop in his brain,
Yeah.
too.
So he had to react that out.